Hello, everybody, and welcome again to today's training session on 10 time saving secrets to create responsive e learning with Adobe Captivate 9. I'm Dr. Pooja Jaising, Senior Adobe e learning evangelist, and the products that I support are Adobe Captivate, Adobe Presenter, and Adobe Captivate Prime LMS. I have a lot of my colleagues here today to help me answer some of your questions. You would have noticed that I have removed the chat pod. That's because are expecting a lot of people to join today's session. So you can ask your questions in the Q&A pod, and only me and my colleagues will be able to see your questions, and they will be responding to your questions. So let's give it a quick test. Just go ahead and write something in the Q&A pod. Just say test, hello, hi, whatever you want to say. Go ahead and write in the Q&A pod, and I can see a lot of messages coming in here. Amazing. And I also see Leva here. Alan or Neil, can you just promote her so that she can be here in the presenter pod? Also, the other colleagues that I have with me today are Dr. Alan Partridge, my partner in crime, and we have Neil, we have Sankaram, we have Mohana from the Captivate team, and we are expecting few more people to join here today to help me with your questions. And I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions today about Captivate. Also, one more thing, the session is being recorded, and you can find the recording link under Captivate webinars, which is listed in the links of interest. Go ahead and save that link, and this recording will be posted over there in about 24 hours. Also, I see Leva here. Hello, Leva. And we also, if you have any other questions or you want to reach out to us, we are there on Captivate blog. You'll find a lot of useful blog posts over there. You can also find us on Facebook or Twitter. So, with that, I would urge you to answer this question here about how familiar are you with Adobe Captivate. I would love to hear from you about what is your level of comfort with Adobe Captivate. And let me just, yeah, the results are broadcasted, and you can see that we have about 42% people who are new to Captivate are exploring the features. Pretty good set. And I can also see some people who are asking what's Captivate. That's nice. And there are wow, 9 Captivate rock stars. So I'm sure if you let us know, you can help us answer questions from everybody else. So with that, let's get started with today's topic. What we are going to cover in today's session is we will start with talking about the new storyboarding app, which is Adobe Captivate Draft, which will allow you to create storyboards on your iPad. And then you can take those storyboards, share it with your stakeholders. They can review, add comments, add doodles, and then you can go ahead and implement those comments and then save that storyboard on your Creative Cloud folder and then open that storyboard straight away in your Captivate project and then populate it with the exact images and other content with in place of the placeholder objects. Once we are done with that, we'll take about say 7 to 10 minutes to cover that, and then we will switch directly to creating a new responsive project using Captivate. And I'll share a lot of tips with you today about how you can position the objects, how you can size the objects to make them look best in all the different devices. So without wasting any time, I'll directly start sharing my screen with you. So let me just start the iPad. Just give me a second. And here you go. Are you guys able to hear me? I'm really sorry. Connect crashed on me. So
We can hear
I'll just
you.
quickly share my screen again, and I hope you are able to hear me now. Okay, awesome. So I'll just share my screen, and here's my iPad app where I have downloaded Adobe Captivate Draft, which is a free iPad app, and you can find it on the App Store. Currently, it's only available on iOS devices, but we are working on making it available on other devices and other platforms as well. But for now, it's just available on iOS devices. So let's quickly check out what this draft is all about. So here's Adobe Captivate Draft. It has a very simple interface. You can see that here's my welcome screen where I have all my storyboards in the form of thumbnails. If I want to add a new storyboard, I just go and tap on the plus sign. It gives me a blank canvas, and then I can start creating storyboards here. The most important thing about this app is that whatever objects you add inside the storyboard are the native objects that you find inside Captivate. And those objects can be shapes, which are smart shapes. It can be the text captions. It can be the video elements, audio element, web object. It can also be question slides or blank slides. So whatever objects that are present in Captivate, which are most important and most frequently used, are included in this app so that you can directly add those objects here and use them inside your Captivate project. Some of the simplest ways of adding objects here are you can either use the controls that are available on the left panel, or you can simply draw some gestures. So let's see how to draw those gestures. If you want, say, an oval shape, go ahead and draw an oval shape. So you can do that. Oops. Okay. So if you draw an oval shape, it will give you an oval shape, and you can increase or decrease the size of this oval shape by just dragging and dropping, just dragging the handles and increasing or decreasing them. If you want a rectangle, go ahead and draw a rectangle. It will give you a rectangle. If you want a line, draw a line. It will give you a line. If you want a triangle, it will give you a triangle. So these are the basic shapes that are available inside Draft. Apart from these shapes, you can also add image placeholder. So just draw a cross mark, and that will give you an image placeholder. If you want a video placeholder, go ahead and draw a forward arrow. It will give you a video placeholder which you can add anywhere on the screen. If you want a web object to be available, you can go ahead and draw an infinity sign, and it will give you a web object where you can either place a link for the web page or the embed code for YouTube videos or any other videos with embed codes. If you want to add more slides, you can just go ahead and tap on this plus sign in the right side. Go ahead and tap it. It will give you a blank slide. Also, if you want to add a question slide, just swipe right above these three lines, and it will allow you to see the table of contents for this storyboard. Here, you can either tap on add blank slide at the bottom, and it will give you a new slide. If you want a question slide, just go ahead and tap on the question slide, and here it will give you an opportunity to add four different question slides, which are the most commonly used questions inside Captivate. Go ahead and change it to multiple choice. You can go ahead and also increase or decrease the number of options that are available inside Captivate Draft. So you can do that. Marking the answer as correct is the same as Captivate. So you can just tap on it and it will mark the answer as correct. Other than that, you can also hyperlink objects. You can use the branching view over here inside Captivate Draft to see how your slides are branching. You can do a lot of different things inside Captivate Draft. Also, I just wanted to show you one very interesting thing, which was about controlling the properties of objects. So if you have, say, a rectangle shape, and now you want to make some changes to its properties, what you can do is you can select it, and on the right hand side you will get an option to fill the color. So you tap on it, and it will give you the options to fill color. So you can select the color from this wheel. You can add RGB values or CMYK values. You can also go to your themes, which are a part of your Creative Cloud subscription. You can go ahead and select the color that you like from there. Or if you have a separate palette that you have loaded here, I have a palette named Puja. I can just go ahead and open it and then select the color from there that I want to add to this rectangle. I can also control the stroke for this. I can go ahead and select the color that I want, and then I can adjust the width of the stroke. So I can go ahead and sorry, I can go ahead and change the width of this by just moving the sliding up and down. So that's how you can control even the images and videos is pretty cool. So you can just go ahead and add a placeholder, and then it gives you an opportunity on the right to either add a camera shot or take an image from the gallery. So I'll just go ahead and select an image from gallery, and you can easily add those images inside Captivate Draft, and those will be taken back. Also, if you want to add some text, you can scribble. You can scribble horizontally to record audio. So here you can see I scribbled horizontally on the screen, and that gave me the audio control. I can record it, and once the audio is recorded for the slide, this would be scratch audio or any discussion you are having with your customer, and once it's done, it will be added to the slide as a slide audio, and you will be able to see the icon on the top right corner. Also, if you want to add some text, just scribble vertically, and that will give you the placeholder. Just double tap it, and you will be able to type text inside and commit to it. So as soon as you do that, the text is added. So all the different options that you will require to create your storyboard are available in Adobe Captivate Draft. And once you're done, you can just go ahead and go back to the table of contents, and from here you will be able to go ahead and select uh, select this option to share it for a review with your customers, or you can add it to the you can add it to the Creative Cloud folder from here, and from there you can go ahead and open it inside Captivate and convert it into a full-fledged e-learning course. So that's about Adobe Captivate Draft. Let me just quickly close this, and let me just quit quick time. And do we have any questions about Adobe Captivate Draft before we discussing something else? Dr. Partridge, do we have any questions? Awesome. So Neil is saying that all the questions are being answered. So I'm glad. And let's go ahead and resume screen share. And I just wanted to show you the option where you can take that storyboard and then add it to Captivate to convert it to a real e-learning course. And to do that, what you can do is you can come to the welcome screen, go to the new tab, and click on this button which says From Adobe Captivate Draft. This will allow you to open a CPDX file, which is a draft storyboard. And what you can do is you can go to your Creative Cloud folder where your Captivate Draft will be saved as soon as you click that button, tap on that button. And I can just go ahead and open the Captivate Drafts option, and then go to projects, and here I can go ahead and open the storyboard that I want to open. So here I'll just go ahead and select one of the storyboards that I have created, uh, and I will go ahead and open one of these. So I've done that, and let's see. Okay, I can see that some people are facing issues with viewing the screen. Okay. Okay. Are you able to see the screen now, everybody? Awesome. Okay, great. So let me just resume screen share. And here you can see that we have a storyboard app, a storyboard imported inside Captivate, and everything hearing the way we added it. There's multiple choice question. There are other images and text caption placeholders. So everything is mentioned here, and then you can go ahead and start creating a responsive course from here. So let me just close this and let me show you how to create a responsive course from scratch. So let's see, everybody is able to see the screen? Just quickly let me know if you are able to see everything is fine. And if there are any questions, can you just let me know, Dr. Partridge, Gaurav, Liva, if you can just type it in the presenter chat. If there are any questions, please let me know. Okay. I don't see any questions here. And Liva, that question, I think Sankaram is the best person to answer. So let him answer that question. And I'll go ahead and resume the screen share. And here's Captivate. For those who are new to it, Captivate is a rapid authoring tool which allows you to create everything e-learning. And one of the major workflows you have with Captivate is a creation of responsive e-learning courses. So let's see how we can create a responsive e-learning course. And for that, we'll go to the new tab. And here you can see these big, beautiful thumbnails for the main workflows that you have inside Captivate. So what we will do is we will create a responsive project here. I'll just go ahead and double click it, and it will allow me to create a responsive project. Now, the difference between a normal project and a responsive project is that a normal project has a fixed width and height, but a responsive project allows you to have a variable width in the form of breakpoints. So here you can see we have three breakpoints. One is for desktop, the next is for tablet portrait, and the third one is for mobile portrait. You can use three breakpoints, or if you feel you need to have your courses in both horizontal and vertical dimensions, you can go ahead and add more breakpoints over here. So I'll go ahead and click the add button, and here I get one more breakpoint for a custom tablet layout, and I can get one more for custom mobile layout. Now these are not these dimensions are not set in stone. You can go ahead and make changes to these dimensions as much as you can. So what you can do is you to change the width. What you can do is you can click and drag and move these handles to increase or decrease the width of this breakpoint. What you can also do is to change the height of these breakpoints. You can go ahead and click and drag this handle, the yellow handle that you see, to increase or decrease the height of this breakpoint. So you can go up to 1280 pixels if you want to adjust the breakpoint width. And for the height, there is no number that you are bound with. For the second breakpoint, again, you can go ahead and modify these dimensions as much as you want. And for mobile portrait, the minimum you can go is 320 pixels. So the maximum for breakpoint is 1280 pixels, and for the smallest breakpoint, the minimum you can go is 320 pixels. So that's how you can adjust the breakpoints. Also for mobile, if you need more space because the real estate is very less, what you can do is you can add extra scroll if you wish to. So you can go to properties, and here you can see that the device height, which is the project height, and the slide height are linked to each other. What we can do is we can unlink this, and then we get individual controls for adjusting the device height and slide height. So what I can do is I can increase the slide height, and you can see that there are some extra pixels that are added over here. What this allows you to do is to have these extra pixels where you can allow your learners to scroll to see some more content. But if you add a new slide here. So if I go and right click, say slides, and then add a new slide, you will notice that this new slide doesn't have those extra pixels. It is slide specific and it is available only to this slide. So if you want to add more pixels for one of breakpoints, you can go ahead and use this option, and this option is available in all the breakpoints in your slide. So you can go ahead and make changes to that. Let me quickly close this project because I have really messed up the dimensions here. Let me show you one more thing here. So one question you would ask is, how do I decide or how do I change my breakpoint sizes? What you can do is you can check the viewport sizes of your learners' devices. It's viewport size, and you can go to this particular link. Let me just open it for you. It's viewport sizes.com/mine. So when you do that, it will show you the dimension that your browser is having. So currently, I'm viewing it on my computer uh, browser, so I see a bigger dimension. But if you visit the same site, which is viewportsizes.com/mine, you will get smaller dimensions if you're viewing it for mobile device or a tablet device. And then you can determine what is the average size of the viewport for your learners, and then you can design your content accordingly. One word of caution here, you have to adjust the breakpoint sizes at the beginning of creation of course. If you keep meddling with it later on, your graphics and the other things might look a little odd, and you would have to do a lot of extra work later on. So to avoid that, the first step is to adjust the breakpoint size um, of your course. So with that, let's move on. And the next step that you would do in creation of your responsive course is apply theme. So here you can go to themes and you will find these pretty themes over here, which are uh, all responsive in nature. You can select the one that you like and click yes, and all the elements in your project will be changed to adopt that particular theme. So I'll just go ahead and right click. Let me just add a new slide. And here you can see that I have all the slides which are having that particular theme. So with that, what you can do is here, if I go and click the plus signs as well to add more breakpoints, you can see that as soon as I move to the other breakpoints, these themes adapt themselves to to make the most of that breakpoint size. And similarly, here also you'll find that it looks pretty different from other slides. And these are completely responsive in nature, and all the hard work has been done already, so you don't have to worry about how to size them, how to position them. All you have to do is populate these screens with the content that you wish to serve to your learners. So using themes is a number one priority. You should definitely go ahead and use one of these themes, and then pick the slide type that you want to have for your course, and then accordingly populate your courses. Okay, so this is about the canned content that you will have for your courses. But if you have to create something from scratch, I will share a lot of tips with you regarding the size and position. But before that, let me also talk to you about one of the very important features that you need for your mobile learning courses, and that is gestures. To enable gestures, you can go to Window, and Captivate has a default property which keeps the gestures enabled, but I'm just trying to show you what gestures are available. And in case you want to disable it because you have a lot of branching happening and you don't want them to use the gestures, you can go ahead and disable this from here. For that, you have to go to Window and select Mobile Palette. This option is also accessible when you go to the Publish dialog. So here you can see by default gesture configuration is enabled. So for all your courses, when you long tap, you can play pause the movie. Swiping left or right will help you go to the previous and next slide. Pinch to zoom you can use, and you can double tap on the screen to show or hide the table of contents. And this is if the table of contents is enabled for your course. Also, to if you swipe up and down, you can show or hide the play bar for the course. So those are the gestures that are available inside Captivate for your mobile learning courses. Other than that, if you have some HTML5 animations, you can go ahead and add them by selecting media and then selecting HTML5 animations. This will allow you to have those animations play really well in your responsive courses. Also, one more very important thing here is that you can add SVG images now, SVG graphics now to your Captivate courses. These are super useful when you are creating responsive e-learning courses where the size of the object varies based on the breakpoint sizes. Okay, with those little tidbits, let me talk to you about the different best practices that you should use for your responsive courses. But before that, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll just go ahead and pause sharing. And do we have any questions here? Can you just type in the presenter chat, or Dr. Partridge, if you can unmute yourself and say something.
Everybody is zapping these questions super fast awesome. Today, Pooja.
Wow.
We do have a question from one attendee asks if you can explain what SVG is.
Okay, that's an awesome question. So SVG is a scalable vector graphic, and if you add that graphic to your course, no matter how much you increase its size or decrease its size, it will never pixelate. So to avoid the pixelation that you can get from any JPEG or a PNG image, if you make it really large, that will never happen with a scalable vector graphic, because it is inherently vector in nature and it doesn't pixelate at all. It just takes the form and size of whatever shape you are trying to give it. So that's a scalable vector graphic, and because in responsive courses we are increasing and decreasing the size of the objects a lot, it really helps to have an SVG which will look perfect in any breakpoint that you have. Okay, so with that, I'm so glad all my colleagues are here and they are helping me answer all your questions. So big thank you to all of you for joining here. With that, let me just quickly resume screen share. And what I will do is already pre-created one project so that we don't miss out on any best practice that I want to share with you today. And that is on an interesting topic, which is pet training. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here's another course. It is responsive in nature. And what I've done is I have just created these 10, 20 different slides for showing you all the different tips that I have to share today. And after this as well, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Dr. Partridge or anybody from the Captivate team, and we'll be really happy to help you resolve your issues or any questions you have. Okay, so the first tip is about positioning the objects. So if you are creating a responsive course, the main, I would say the magic mantra that you have to work with is about sizing and positioning the objects correctly. Now, what you can do here is, if you go to properties, let me just go ahead and add an object here. So I'll go to library and I will go and select this image which says tip 1. I'll go ahead and drag and drop it to the bottom left corner of my screen, and here you go. Okay, so here I have placed this object over here. I have not done anything. I have not made any changes to the properties of this particular object. But when I go to the other breakpoints, you can see that automatically it is responding to the size of the breakpoint. And that's happening because all the calculations of the size and position of this object are happening in percentage rather than pixels. So let me show you how those calculations are happening. Not how, I would say where those calculations are happening in Properties Inspector. And here you will find another inspector next to the Properties and Timing Inspector, which is Position Inspector. When you go to the Position Inspector, you'll find that every value here is either percentage or auto. Let's talk about the object position first, and then we'll get to the object size. Okay. So here you can see that it's calculating 0.5% from top and minus 0.02%, sorry, 0.2% from the left, and it is placing the object over there. So here, when I go to the next screen, you can see it's going up because it is calculating this much, percentage from top and left, and then it's leaving that particular area over here. Similarly, on this screen, and on this screen, you can see the image is moving upward because it is linked to the top left corner of the screen. If you have images like this, where you have a girl walking the dog or a cat, or there's a coach image and you have to keep it at the bottom left or the bottom right corner, what you can do is you can change the position. So any object that you add inside Captivate, you have to place it either, link it either to the top left corner, top right corner, bottom right corner, or bottom left corner. To make those changes, what you can do is here, instead of top, I'll go ahead and select bottom as my percentage. Let's give it a perfect 0 so that it doesn't go outside, and here also left also I'll change it to 0. Now when you go to the other breakpoints, you will notice that the image is sticking to the bottom of the screen. Not only this, if you are viewing this course in different breakpoints, let me just preview it quickly for you to show you how things look like when they are in the real sense. Let me just pause this for you and let's make it big. Okay, so here these are the breakpoints, and this is how it will look like on these different breakpoints. But Captivate also allows you to have this content in between breakpoints. So if your screen size is anywhere between 1024 and 896, it will show the content which is on 1024 breakpoint. If it is between this, it will show the bigger one. So it always shows the bigger dimension width on the score. So here, when I move the slider, you can see that the width is changing and it is not breaking the design at all. It is always having the girl grounded on the screen, and you can easily go ahead and drag and see if your design is looking right or not. So you don't need to manually go and do it on each and every slide, that if it is going up, go ahead and push it down. That will be a disaster. And let me show you how that disaster works. So let's delete this and let me put this image one more time. So I'll go to library and let me put tip 1 over here, and let's place it the way we had placed it before. And you can see that again with default properties it is moving up. So instead of changing that property of linking it to the bottom right left corner, if I would have gone and manually done this, thinking that it's more efficient to do it this way because you're doing it on your own, uh, it will not work. So let me just quickly make changes in each and every breakpoint. This is hard work, right? Going to each and every breakpoint and making changes to it. And if you think that that hard work will pay off, you are mistaken. Okay, so let me just preview this for you again, and I'll just pause this here. And here you can see that I have this design, and notice what happens when I'm dragging. When I'm dragging and it is between 1024 and 896, it will keep moving up. As soon as it reaches 896, it will go down again. Again, it starts moving up. Again, it starts moving up. So it doesn't remain constant, and the design is breaking in between breakpoints. So if you want the design to break in between, if that's a part of your design, sometimes you might want it to follow the design of the previous breakpoint, and then in the next breakpoint you want to change it. By design, it's okay, but in cases like this, it looks really odd and you should not do it. So as far as possible, try to change properties of objects inside this layout so that you are getting the right properties for your objects and the design doesn't break in between breakpoints. So let's fix this now. We made a lot of changes. We unlinked all these breakpoints by changing it. You can see the unlinking here. So let me show you a difference. So let me just add a star here. Okay, I'll quickly draw a star here. And you can see that I have not made any changes to the properties in the different breakpoints. So everything is coded as purple. You'll see a purple boundary around, border around all these values. If you go to the different breakpoints, again, it's purple. Here also it's purple. Here also it's purple, and it remains purple. But if you go to, if you select this image where we did a lot of changes, in this breakpoint, it remains purple, which is the color code for desktop. When you go to the custom tablet, you can see these properties are changed to blue. The height and width we did not touch, it still remains purple. So it's linked to the parent properties that we have set for the desktop. But for these properties, it has been turned blue, which means this has a mind of its own. Okay. And now whatever you do here will not be followed in the rest of the breakpoints. Here again, you can see that we did not change these properties. We changed the top and bottom properties, and it is now linked to the tablet. And here again, we changed everything. It is changed to orange, and for the mobile portrait, this has been changed to pink. So everything is broken here. To fix it, what we can do is right click and say apply position properties to all views. What this will do is, now this is our guiding position properties, and then when we go to the other layouts or the breakpoints, you can see everything is back to purple. So you can always go ahead and use this option, and as far as possible, do not touch objects on the other breakpoints. Try and see if you can use the position properties that I just showed you to make changes. And there are not many properties here, but the combination of these properties is magical, and it will help you do things really nicely. Okay, so here you can see that I had placed her on the bottom left corner. But if this object is on the bottom right corner, let me just change this to bottom and left, and let's change this to 0 again. Okay, so now she's at the bottom left corner. But what if this object is to be placed on the bottom right corner? Easy, simple, just go ahead and change this to bottom will remain, okay? And then instead of left, you can go ahead and select right percentage. So what it will do is it will calculate 0 and 0 from bottom right, and it will draw the object correctly on this particular slide. Okay, so that's how you can place the objects, and depends on the nature of the object where it is placed, whether it should be, if it's a logo or something, you might place it on the top right corner or bottom left corner, or any other corner that you choose. You can just place it correctly on that particular corner. Now, along with aligning it to the different sides, you can also align objects to the center of the slide. Let me just bring in another image here. I'll go to library and let me just bring in this tip2 image. Okay, I want this image to be at the center of my slide. So I will place it here on the center of the stage. Okay, and you can see that now there is equal difference on both the sides. But when I go to the other breakpoints, you can see that it's moving a little bit to the left because it is left aligned, and it's not really honoring how I want this to appear. Also, it's moving up. I want this image to be centered and centered both ways, horizontally and vertically. So to do that, what I can do is I can either right click and select align and select both center horizontally and center vertically. Or what I can do is I can go to the properties inspector, position inspector, open the advanced panel and select align center horizontally and align center vertically. Now this object or this image will be centered on the stage all the time. It will not move anywhere else. Okay, so this is about positioning objects, and it's a really, really important property that you should keep in mind when you are creating your e-learning courses. Let me just quickly pause here, and Dr. Partridge, do we have any questions?
One, not exactly a question, Dr. Jysing, but a sort of request about whether or not you can repeat that last element about the breakpoints and about I think the way that the coloration comes on the properties.
Oh, okay, sure, I'll do that. So, the in Captivate, all the breakpoints follow a parent-child relationship. So let me just quickly share the screen with you and show what I'm saying. So here, if I add something over here, or if I make changes to the object at this particular position, that change will be carried forward to the other breakpoints. This is a parent, this will be a child, this will be a grandchild, grandchild, and grand. So whenever you are starting to create your courses, you should always start authoring in the primary or the desktop view, and then it will replicate over there. And to make any changes, you can make changes to the size and position of the main object, and it will replicate over there. If you want to have something really different, then you can break that link of parent-child relationship and give it a style of its own. Let me give you an example over here. So I'll go ahead and maybe let's add a text. So I'll go ahead and add a text caption here. And in this text caption, what I will do is I will go ahead and increase the size and say, here's the desktop text. Okay, so I've added some text here, and let me just change the color so that it's more prominent. Okay, so here's my text, and if I go to the other breakpoints, you can see that it's automatically taking this text. It is placing it at the same position that I have. It is changing the font size automatically. But if I go and change something at, say, a tablet portrait view, let me just go ahead and change the color. So I'll go and change it to maybe a green. So instead of, oh, this is very light, let me just put this green color. So now what will happen is whatever change you have made, it will be adopted by these child breakpoints, but it will not be adopted by the parent breakpoints. So if you go back to the desktop view or the tablet view, you will see that these things have not been changed. But tablet onwards, you can see that the color of the text is set to green instead of blue. So all the properties that you change in terms of size, position, and text will move from top to bottom, which is the biggest breakpoint to the lowest breakpoint. So that's how this relationship is maintained. Okay, so with that, let's move uh, to the next step, and that is about maintaining aspect ratio of the object. Now here you would have noticed that when we add an object, let me just bring in the image here. I'll go ahead and add this image over here, and let me just uh, fit it to stage. And here you can see that I have added this image, and the proportion of this image is maintained. No matter how small or big this image is, it will always maintain the aspect ratio of this image. And it does it by having one of the height or width properties set to auto. So here you can see that the width is set to 90% with keeping some pixels here and some pixels here, and the height is set to auto based on the width of this particular object. If I go ahead and change this auto to percentage, let's see what happens. So here, when I go to this view, you can see that the image is getting squeezed, and here it squeezes more. Here it's all right, but when you go to mobile, you can see it looks really distorted. So the mantra to have it non-distorted is to keep the either height or width set to auto. So now here the height was set to auto. If I change the width to auto and height as percentage, you can see that it is not distorting the image at all. It is always keeping that ratio intact. So here, just remember one thing: either height or width has to be set to auto so that the aspect ratio of the object is maintained. And one more thing you have to keep in mind is when you are creating, say, a shape. So you created a shape, and then you can see that by default it's set to auto and width. But if you go and make some modifications, so I just go ahead and increase the height. Now you will see that this property has been changed to percent. And if you just leave it that way, you will see that this object is squeezing and it is not maintaining the ratio that you had set. What you can do is, after making any such changes, make sure you go and change one of the properties to auto so that the aspect ratio of that object is maintained in all the breakpoints. And even if you see it squeezing or becoming really big and disproportionate, just go and check your object height and width, and most definitely it will be because one of the properties is not set to auto. Okay, with that, let's move quickly to the next step, and that is adjusting the size and position of background graphics. Now, if you have some image like this, so let me just bring it here, and that is this one. So an image like this, which is fairly plain, it has a little gradient into it, and you can see that the edges of this image are a little darker and the center is a little lighter. But if you just place this object over here, what I will do is I'll go to properties, position, make sure the top is set to 0%, left is set to 0% so that it starts painting this object from here. But if I go to the other breakpoints, here there's no problem. If I go to tablet portrait, the problem starts. You can see that this area is left uncovered from this background image. If you go here, this is all right, but in mobile you see a bigger problem where most of the portion of the bottom of the screen is left uncovered. Now, in such cases where squeezing the image or distorting the image doesn't make a difference, it will actually look good if you have the darker edges as the edges of the slides. To do that, what we will do is we will remove this auto and we will change it to percentage. And here you can see it's 122.5%. I'll go ahead and change it to 100% to just fit it correctly on the screen. With this simple setting done, now my screen looks covered all the time because I have made that change, and my screen is completely covered with this particular slide. Okay, with this image. Now that is possible only when you have a plain image or an image with a light gradient, and it doesn't matter if you squeeze it. But if you have something like this, so if I have like this image, which is like, let's place it over here, and let me just open the properties and show the device height so that you can see it over here. One more thing I'll do, I'll just go ahead and change the alpha so that we can see better what's happening. So here you can see that there is some space here on the right, and I'll just go ahead and proportionately, I'm holding the shift key to cover it completely so that at least the width is covered. And I'll go and check the position. Position is auto and 99.9%. Let's change this to 100% so that it covers it completely. And the top will be 0, left will be 0. Okay. This is something you should take care of whenever you add an image because we are humans and sometimes we do not do things precisely. Okay, so this is done. Again, same problem. When I go to the tablet portrait, there is a portion of image left uncovered, and here in mobile, again, it's the same thing. But in this case, if I go ahead and change it to say 100%, let me just go ahead and change this to 100%. And if I go and use that, you can see a lot of squeezing happening over here, which is not cool, especially in the mobile version. Everything is looking very compact and you might not want to happen. So let's go ahead and delete this. Let me bring this image one more time. I'll go ahead and add this over here and let's place it on the top left corner. Let's increase, I'll just go to properties and increase this to 100%. And then what I will do is I'll change this to 0, change this to 0, and let's again make it a little transparent so that we can see where it is going. What we can do is we can do another change here where the aspect ratio is maintained, but what we can do is because we have too much stuff happening in the width is pretty covered, so what we can do is we can change the height to percentage, okay, and width to auto. Okay, what this will do is it will allow you to use a portion of this image. Uh, the rest of the image will be spilled over. And it doesn't matter if some spillage is happening over here because the design is not getting distorted. You're using partially the image, but it is not squeezing the image at all. You're using a poor image and it looks pretty nice and the message is passed on. So that's about using background images. Let's go ahead and quickly see the tips for adjusting the size and position of linked objects. So let's go ahead and add some objects over here. This is supposed to be tip 5. So let's go ahead and add some objects. So let me go back to the desktop mode and let me add one object here. So I have this puppy image. Okay, I'll not add everything here. Let me just place this puppy image over here and I have to show that puppy is thinking about maybe a bone. Okay, so I place this bone here and let's put it under some shape here. Okay, so maybe he's thinking about this puppy. Okay, so he's thinking about this bone. Let me just align, arrange, bring forward, and I'll place this bone over here. Okay. So here you can see that I want all these objects to be at a single place, right? It should be linked to each other. But if you go to the different breakpoints, you can see that there is a lot of distance happening in between these objects, and you can see that it's moving upwards. To fix that, what you can do is you can use the option which is Smart Position inside Adobe Captivate. So I'll go to Properties, and what I can do is currently this is linked to the slide. So if you go to Position and you select Smart Position, you can see that it is linked to the top left corner, which aligns with this option. If you select this, again, this is top left corner, but you can see that the calculations are pretty different. And that's why it's not able to place these objects together. If there are objects that are together, what you can do is you can position them smartly to link to this object. So this is my primary object. I'll click and drag this line here to link it to this puppy image. Okay. And for the thought bubble also, let's go ahead and do the same. I'll go ahead and place it over here and this one over here. Okay, and now when I move to the different breakpoints, you can see that these objects are now moving together, and it's not going too far off, and it's allowing you to see things like that. So that's about these objects. Next, let's talk about the overlay objects. So if you have some overlay objects placed on top of each other, at that time you have another option which is percent relative. So let me quickly show that to you. And this is tip 6. So let's go ahead and open tip 6. Okay, so here's my image. I'll just go ahead and place it on the top left corner. And let me go to properties, fit to stage. And what I want to do is I want to add a shape here. So I'll go ahead and draw a rectangle here so that it shows that they are leaning on that particular uh, thing. And let me bring this to front. Arrange, bring to front. Okay, so we have these two objects, and what we want is we want these to be together. Here smart positioning will not work because that gives a little bit of it can place the objects at a different position. There can be a slightly difference, but here we cannot afford to have any distance in between these objects. It has to be overlaid on it. So here in current setting, if you go and see to the other on the other breakpoints, you can see there is this space created. Again, there is a space created. This is all right, but if you go to mobile, again, it's not a good solution. So to have a good solution for this, what you can do is, one way is you can do it manually on all the breakpoints. But then again, in different breakpoints, the in-between breakpoints, it will start breaking the design. So to keep the design intact, what you can do is you can go to Position Inspector, and the vertical properties, you can go ahead and change it to percent relative. So it will change the position of these objects in relation to each other. So here I have selected percent relative. I'll go ahead and select this as well and say percent relative, percent relative. Okay, and now when I go to the other breakpoints, you can see that both these objects are intact and they do not move away from each other. So if you have objects like this, which will happen in e-learning courses, you have highlight boxes, you have click boxes, you have dependent objects, you can use this property to move everything together. Okay. Also, if you're using something like a logo and you want to set the minimum maximum height of that particular logo, let me just quickly get in a logo here. We have very few minutes left, so let me just get it here. So if there is a minimum maximum size that you want to have for this logo as per your design guidelines, you can set it over here and it will not allow it to move, become smaller or bigger. Let me just skip that part. And for adding and formatting text, again, you should always use web safe fonts. So if you add a text caption here, for your responsive courses, what you should do is you should use the characters which are listed under web safe fonts. These will work on all the devices and it will be similar experience for all the learners. Do not use system fonts, because if they are viewing the courses on their mobile device or tablet devices, chances are they will not have the font that you have used, and then it will fall back to the secondary font that has been set for that. So that is there. And also I showed you the difference that you can have in text in terms of color. You can also have different text on different breakpoints. So go ahead and try it out after this class. And you can apply effects to these objects. These objects will carry forward the effect that you've added. So if I add, say, a star, and then I right click and select apply effect, I can go ahead and let me just draw a motion path here. I'll go ahead and draw a custom path, and I'm just drawing a random path here and double clicking. So here when I go to the other breakpoints, you can see that the effect is also responsive and it moves to cover up the entire slide. So you can have the same effect on different breakpoints, or if you feel that, say, on mobile, you don't want it to move horizontally, you want it to move vertically, you can go ahead and move these points however you want. You can also delete this effect and create a new effect altogether. So you can do that, you can add more effects, and this will not be replicated to the parent breakpoints, as I said earlier. So that's all about tips. One more tip is you can use interactions and scenario templates from the assets folder here. You can go ahead and click assets, create an account with eLearning Brothers from inside this window, and you will be able to use all these different assets that are available. And for responsive, using these scenario templates, it's really cool because all of these are responsive in nature and you don't have to do a lot of hard work. With that, I will just stop sharing my screen and let me know if you have any questions. I'll be around here to answer your coding and I will continue answering your questions. Thank you and have a great day ahead.